Hey guys, so I'm gonna do a really quick video on how we use our food scale when we're weighing out our food to hit our meal plans, tracking our macros, tracking our calories, anything to do with our nutrition. And we're using a food scale. This is what we're gonna cover. So this is a food scale. Now there's these two main buttons that we're going to use. We've got our unit button and our tare/power button. Okay, so for unit, we can press the unit button to change between different units of measurement. So the most common ones that you'll see on scales, these kind of differ between different scales, but the most common ones are going to be ounces, like fluid ounces. You're going to see grams, you're going to see milliliters. Sometimes you'll see pounds. Those are the most common ones. Now, generally speaking, when we're using the scale, I usually say to use either grams if it's a solid food, like peanut butter, chicken, rice, let's go for grams. And then if you're using something that's a little bit more liquid, use milliliters. So if you're going for like orange juice or like milk, you could go for milliliters. You could also use ounces technically for that, but milliliters is just a little bit more precise because it goes a little bit into greater depth with like decimal points. So you're gonna be just slightly more accurate. And then tare, what the heck does tare mean? Tare basically means it's the on and off button, but tare also means it's going to zero out the scale. So if you have the scale and you turn it on and you press the tare/on button, it turns it on and you see the 0. But if I go and I put my bowl on top of the scale while it's on, you'll see that it'll weigh the weight of the bowl. I don't care how much my bowl weighs. So what I do is I tare out or I zero out the weight of the bowl so I can see how much food I'm adding in chicken, in rice, in oats, whatever I'm using. And you can do that multiple times. So if you're making oatmeal for breakfast, for example, put the bowl on, press tare, zero it out. So there's just the weight of the bowl, but it says 0 on the scale. And then you're going to add in your oats to get like, I don't know, 40 grams of oats. And then you want to add in some peanut butter. You're going to hit tare, so it says 0 again. And then you're going to measure out the peanut butter that you add in, or the banana that you add in, or whatever you add in on top of that. So you know I had 40 grams of my oats. And then I also put in 60 grams of banana. Say, for example, we wanted to weigh out 100 grams of chicken for our meal plan. There's two ways to do it. You can either measure the weight of the food, or you can measure the negative. First, we're going to measure the weight of the food. So I'm going to put my bowl where I'm going to be eating my meal out of, this nice bowl. Now you can see that the scale is now measuring the weight of the bowl for 643 milliliters. I'm going to change this to grams. Milliliters and grams are kind of the same thing, so it doesn't matter too much. And I'm going to tare this out. So now it says that there's no weight being recorded. Next, I'm going to grab my chicken. And now all I have to do is add chicken in here until I get, oh, this can take freaking 100 grams. And this is 106 grams. So if I wanted to be like crazy about it, 101 grams, you can see right here, 101 grams of chicken breast. There you go. Now I'm done. Version 2 is measuring the negative. So I'm going to put my container of my chicken breast, of my yogurt, of my peanut butter, whatever it is that has the stuff in it. And I'm going to select tare. Now that says 0. Now, if I wanted to eat 100 grams of chicken, I'm just going to take out 100 grams. You can see as I pull out, it's pulling out the negative number. The key is I had to press 0 or tare before I started pulling out all of my food. And I'm going to pull out my food until it says negative 100, meaning 100 grams of chicken are missing from here. Cool. Now I have my bowl with my food. Easy peasy. Okay, so if I wanted to make a bowl of multiple things and I'm trying to weigh it all out, this is how you're going to do it. So you've placed your bowl on top of the scale. Now it's weighing the weight of your bowl, but we don't need that. So tare it out. And then from there, you're just going to go and add your food. So for example, if I wanted to add rice, and let's say I wanted 100 grams of rice. So I've got a tad bit too much. Cool, 100 grams of rice. Now next I want to add in my prepped chicken.
What you're going to do before you add in the chicken is you're going to select tare and make sure that the scale says 0. And then you can start adding in your chicken. And now it's only measuring the weight of the chicken you're adding in. So let's say I wanted to add in 100 grams of chicken. Close. And then let's say I wanted to add in some lettuce to make it like a salad or give more volume if I'm in a deficit. This is so low calorie that generally you don't need to track how much you're using because there's almost no calories. The whole bag has 45 calories-ish, which is like nothing. But if you wanted to, same thing, you would just select tare to zero it out. And then you would go and add in all of the lettuce that you want. And now you would have 27 grams of lettuce that you would be tracking. So you would track 100 grams of rice, 100 grams of chicken, and then 28 grams, because it's actually 28 grams of that lettuce. And that is your bowl.
Okay, so now that we've weighed out all of our food and we have it in our bowl, I'm going to show you how to use our in-app tracker to finish it off and make sure that we are tracking and knowing, you know, all of what we're putting into our body with our nutrition, our nutrients, and how we're fueling. So in the app, if you have a meal or a nutrition guideline set, you'll see this up here at the top and you can just click on it and select add meal. If you don't have that nutrition goal set, then you'll come down to this blue plus sign at the bottom right-hand corner and select add meal. And then from there, you're at this screen, we can skip the photo and we're gonna look for the food. So we had rice. Now you can see here, I have already tracked these foods previously. So I have my recent foods showing that I have basmati rice cooked. If it wasn't there, then I would just search for rice cooked. We wanna make sure that we're differentiating cooked versus uncooked. And you could choose whichever ones you want. The ones with the blue check mark are verified USDA, so this would be a great option to use. So you can go for a cup or grams, and we're gonna change that unit to grams, change the 1 to 100 to match what we tracked, or to track what we, match what we tracked. There we go, words. And we're gonna press add in the upper right-hand corner. Now, if I use this food all the time, then I can click back into it and press this heart, and it will add it to my favorites. So over here, there it is, right rice. Now, next one I'm going to add in is that cooked chicken. I'll search for that. So there's a couple of different ones. So we see cooked chicken. So we got ground chicken cooked. That doesn't really match. Let's do cooked chicken breast. Be a little bit more specific. Cool, this is better. Okay, so top one, chicken broilers or fresh fryers, breast meat cooked only, but it's fried. You see fried at the end. We don't want that because it's not fried. So we've got this one here, chicken breast cooked. That might be okay. But this one here with the blue check mark, this is chicken broiler cooked grilled. So this is a good match because it's grilled chicken breast. We're going to change the unit to grams, what we tracked, and change it to 100. And then I'm going to press add in that corner. You can see the blue check mark. This is now recorded. And then that last one, since I'm in prep, let's go for it and track that lettuce, since we need to be very precise. So I've got iceberg lettuce here. I'm gonna go for, oopsies, I need to change that to grams and then change that to 28, add, and 4 whole calories has been added. So now that I've got all 3 of those, I'm gonna select review, upper right-hand corner. I can change whatever meal I want it to be. So this will be my lunch and add log. So now you can see that I have this meal tracked, and if I wanted to make any adjustments, I can still go in and make changes if I need to.